Be Wealthy and Smart, episode 799.
Step into a world of wealth and financial freedom without budgets, boredom, or bosses on Be Wealthy and Smart. And now, here's your host, Linda P. Jones.
Welcome to Be Wealthy and Smart. I'm Linda P. Jones, America's Wealth Mentor, empowering women and men worldwide to financial freedom. On today's show, I'm calling it Vaccine Hope Abounds, because on Monday, Pfizer and BioNTech announced COVID-19 vaccines that are 90% effective in an interim analysis of a phase 3 trial. And Moderna is also getting a strong reading from their first large-scale trial. And the way one article put it, quote, there could be 2 vaccines available in the U.S. by around year end, end quote. So we have the possibility of vaccines, and that sent the stock market up on a tear. It caused a huge rotation from technology stocks and the stay-at-home stocks into the stocks that are more talking about reopening the economy, travel again, like airlines, travel companies, hotels, but not so fast. Just because we might have the possibility of a couple of vaccines coming doesn't mean we'll have them by the end of the year, and some people think the delay would be quite a bit longer. But also, it doesn't mean that people will just naturally go back to traveling and doing things like they were before. I mean, things take time, people need to adjust. There's a lot that's happened. And some people are working from home now that their companies have sent them home. There are some people that have lost their jobs. There's other businesses that haven't reopened or that have partially reopened, had to close, reopened again. You know what I mean. There's all different kinds of things going on. So we can't make these broad, sweeping generalizations that, oh, it's time to end this kind of a stock and move into this kind of a stock. But I will say that the airlines and travel companies and hotels and cruise lines have gotten severely undervalued, and if they're going back to any modicum of normalcy, then they probably were overdue for an increase in price. But that's not the only way to look at it. Another way to look at it is some of the issues that are underlying problems are still there. Like, have the central banks stopped their quantitative easing? No. Have we gotten rid of $1 quadrillion worth of derivatives? No. Don't we still need stimulus and hope that it's coming? Yes. Are small businesses all just magically okay because of the prospects of a vaccine? Absolutely not. Here in Southern California in the desert, we still have restaurants that haven't opened, and I'm not sure they ever are going to open. We also still have massive global debt. We have technology companies that are substantially overvalued compared to our gross domestic product. As I've talked about, what's called the Warren Buffett indicator, showing severe overvaluation, even more than at the tech bubble peak in 2000. You see, a vaccine won't cure everything economically. We have to reboot and get rid of all of this debt that is hanging around our government's neck. It's hanging around citizens' neck. It's hanging around businesses' necks. It's everywhere. This debt situation has got to go. And that, I do think, will be addressed hopefully before the end of the year. So there's a bit of irrational exuberance that was happening from the vaccine news. And what was interesting to watch that day was after on Monday, when the stocks took off, NASDAQ turned negative by the end of the day, and the Dow had sold off a lot of its gains. So even though there was exuberance, A lot of that happened before the market even opened, and then the market opened a lot higher, and then it sold off. And we're seeing this rotation out of growth to more undervalued value stocks. The Dow Industrial stocks are more value companies, more old line, slower growth, but stable companies. Companies like Procter & Gamble that people are going to buy their cleaning products and buy their toothpaste no matter what happens with the economy. So this rotation that we saw, even though the market skyrocketed higher, what was really happening was this rotation from expensive, overvalued technology companies into undervalued, more Dow Jones Industrial type value companies. And I've been saying this for some time, that we've had a rotation from growth to value that's been trending and is definitely happening quietly behind the scenes without a lot of fanfare, without a lot of people announcing what they're doing. The professionals are clearly liquidating out of technology and going toward value. We also have healthcare being the big movers and technology being where those funds are coming from. So again, a rotation out of technology toward more healthcare, biotech, holistic health, etc. And from larger companies, the mega caps, finally to the smaller caps, which were up 5% on Monday. So we're seeing that money is looking for good value. It's looking for, where can I buy a dollar's worth of assets for 75 cents? That's what's happening right now. Rather than paying $1.25 for a dollar's worth of assets because you anticipate that that money is going to grow and that dollar could turn into $1.10 or $1.15 and you're willing to pay more. No, what people are saying now is, for that dollar, I'm going to pay 75 cents looking for where can it grow to become a dollar. So this is what's going on quietly behind the scenes that you might not be realizing, because if you aren't looking for it, it's not obvious. So that big vaccine announcement is something we could classify as a white swan. A white swan is good news that comes out of nowhere, that's a surprise on the upside, versus a black swan that's bad news that comes out of nowhere and impacts us on the downside. Something like a spike in interest rates or a spike in inflation rates or something like that could be a black swan that could be coming as well. And there's no doubt we're going to have election turbulence ahead. But recently, the Federal Reserve even put out an important statement. They said, the Fed warns assets may have big declines if virus isn't contained. Yes, the Fed actually put that out in a statement. And I retweeted it on my Twitter. I'll read it again. Fed warns assets may have big declines if virus isn't controlled. Well, guess what? Right now, everyone's talking about how many cases are increasing. We're seeing it in the Midwest in a big way. We also have gotten word that Europe is going into lockdown on Monday. So here we go again. Is this going to be another sell-off like we had in March? I don't know, but I think the potential is definitely there. And that's why we've been sitting in cash, precious metals, mining stocks, and our one crypto, that we are very happy to be in all of those assets as they've been big winners and have had great performance this year. Not only that, but they tend to be on the undervalued side, not on the overvalued side, which is where the real risk is right here, is in being in assets that are too richly valued and have too many people being irrationally exuberant in them. That's where the real risk is really in the tech sector. As I see it, a lot of risk in the FANG stocks, which, by the way, pretty much were pummeled on Monday with the big vaccine announcement. There are even some hedge fund managers out there who believe that the tech bubble burst on September 8th. And it's interesting to note that we have seen lower highs on NASDAQ. So until we get to a new high, there is going to be downward pressure on those stocks. And it's something that we'll be watching and reporting to you. If you haven't yet subscribed to Be Wealthy and Smart, hit the subscribe button and you'll be notified as soon as new podcasts are available. And if you're looking for a good book to read to get your finances in order, check out my book, You're Already a Wealth Heiress, Now Think and Act Like One, 6 Practical Steps to Make It a Reality Now. I give you a checklist of all the things that you should be doing for getting your finances on track and show you how to build wealth, what the wealth building formula is, so you can get to financial freedom faster. And if you're interested in my Inside Investing group, we do have Black Friday specials going on where you can save 50%. Check it out on my website at lindapjones.com and look for the VIP experience. That's all for today. Until next time, live the good life and be wealthy and smart.
Thank you for listening to Be Wealthy and Smart with Linda P. Jones. Share the wealth and tell your family and friends about the show. Check out our website, blog, and social media for more riches at www.bewealthyandsmart.com.